beautiful souls. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Michelle. We talk all things life, love, spirituality, love, attraction, and all of that juicy goodness. I'm an intuitive reader, a Reiki practitioner, a manifesting coach, and a life path guide and mentor here to help you along your awakening journey so that you can co-create the life of your dreams. I want you all living life on what I like to call the red carpet, where you're in the flow all the time. You're seeing signs and synchronicities a lot and not gripping on to them having to mean something. You're literally just so present and in the moment, being like, wow, I can't believe I used to live life not seeing all of this. And now I'm like in this whole beautiful, colorful, rainbowy unicorn type of energy. And it's just here all the time. And I have access to it. And I'm not looking for an outcome. That's what I really want to teach. Yes, manifestation is fun, and it's even more fun when we get drop-ins, but really learning to have a life of ease and flow is what I'm passionate about teaching. Because yes, you can manifest $20,000 right now, but will you be happy having it? Are you happy before getting it? Are you happy after it arrives? You know, like a lot of people book me and they're like, Michelle, I have so much success in my life and I'm not happy. And this is my favorite thing to teach, is how to not listen to the mind that keeps you in suffering. And the way I learned about all of this is because I had a daughter in 2012 and she was born with a muscle disorder. And I say it very positively, very cute and bubbly, because it's not a sad thing anymore. You know, I spent 12 years learning how to navigate life in this new reality. I had to pick up the pieces. I had to figure out, all right, I have to wake up every day in this body with these thoughts, with this grief, with this hole in my body that my daughter's not here anymore. And I mastered it for myself. And I love sharing how we can turn something so traumatic and so painful and so gut-wrenching into something so beautiful. And I'm grateful for my daughter, because if she didn't come here and then leave so quickly, she passed away. She was only here for about 6 weeks because of her muscle disorder. She ended up declining after her first 5 weeks alive. She was the cutest little plumpest baby ever. And she started to decline. And that was a whole other story and a whole other, realm of sadness and depression. I had suicidal thoughts about 4 or 5 years later, post loss. Everything surfaced later. It was very delayed. I was in denial the first few years. But it took me, she'll be 12 in 13 days. I'm so excited to celebrate her birthday. It took me 12 years to get to this mindset that I'm in right now. And I realized that, wow, I chose all of that to transform me so that I could be here to help you all not stay stuck in the mind, in the ego, staying in your suffering, staying in your victimhood. And don't get me wrong, like 3 days ago, I was crying hysterically on my couch because the pain I feel in my body some days is unbearable. I can't explain it. I can't put words to it. I think it's just what we feel for our children. And when they're not here and we know that they suffered, and when we know that we saw them in this awful way of being in their body, like that's what's so painful. And again, that's the experience of grief and the mind creating more stories on top of the grief. So I've learned to become very, very mindful of what I'm thinking and feeling at all times. And in order to create a life of your dreams with that red carpet effect that I was talking about, is you have to be super mindful. And meditation, when I first spiritually awakened, I meditated twice a day for 45 minutes because I wanted to really get out of the incessant chatter in my head. I couldn't handle another minute in it. It was always telling me that my life was never going to get better, and that it was that woe is me, this poor thing happened to me, and I'm walking through life as a girl who lost her child, and I didn't want to be her anymore. I wanted to be the girl that brought magic to everybody. I wanted to be the girl that was super, super positive, whether they knew about Micah or not. I am me, and this is my mission, and she's helping me with my mission on the other side. But I was identifying too much with her, right? Like I still have a life. I had a life before Micah arrived, and I had to fall back into, okay, if her and I decided to be mother and daughter in this lifetime with this dynamic, how can I stay in my frame and keep doing what I came here to do while also honoring her and what she came here to do, and then honoring the connection between us? So it's like a three-part relationship. It's my relationship with me, it's my relationship with her, and then a little dynamic in between where I am here posting content for that dynamic in between because she is the one that gave me all of this information. She is the one that forced me to meditate. She didn't force me. She wasn't like, Mom, you need to meditate. But I was suffering so bad that I believe she brought it to me. She brought me the right teachers, the right mentors, the right coaches, the right videos. So I would love to invite you all to see your life that way too. Whatever struggle you've been through, you on some level chose it, your soul chose it for growth. So let's see how it arrived in your life and now what you're going to do with it. And in this video, I really want to talk about abundance. And that's why I'm wearing the sweatshirt and I have my little play money here. Because if you can master the ego, I purchased $1 million bills on Amazon. They're so fun. I like the back of them actually a lot. They're really pretty. I just like the green so much. It's like the old school money look. But I wanted to share in this video that if you can master the red carpet effect, right, where everywhere you go through life, things are just happening for you. I recently went to California with my niece, and it was like I transported back 10 years. It's like I was living my life 10 years ago, and it was chaos after chaos after chaos. And I was like, what is this, Michelle? You don't live life this way. And it's because I was in an energy, in a bubble, in a frequency of somebody else who is not on this vibration, which was my niece. And it was a perfect lesson for her to see, for me to see into her world, into what she's thinking, feeling, and doing all day long, and how she's being. So I was able to teach her so many lessons on that trip, but I had to be into her bubble for 4 days, and it was difficult. OMG. We all live in our bubbles over here and everything's flowing nicely. I don't have many things that go wrong in my life now because I live in a state of everything's always working out for me. So even if I did experience a long wait at a store or a restaurant, I would sit there and make the best of it. I'd be like, let's play a game, let's do something fun. Well, when I was with my niece, she stayed in the doom and gloom of things. She was still frustrated that we were waiting. And I found myself using all of my energy to try to pull her out of that energy, and it wasn't working. So I quickly got a glimpse of how other people might be staying in the suffering and choosing it, and their life gets worse when you do that. You tend to attract the next thing you go to do is chaotic because you're not fixing it in the moment. And when we do finally learn this and we shift and we surrender, and the trick is right now, if you've created a heaven on earth in your own reality, right, where it's the red carpet effect, you hit every green light, people are buying things for you, people are noticing you, everything's just working out effortlessly. And if it's not, you're still okay with it and you snap out of it so fast. It's almost like when you don't stress about a hiccup in your reality, it's the universe seeing you and then it cleans it up real fast for you. And then all of a sudden there's a gift in it somehow. There's a great conversation with somebody after you just had a flat tire. Or, you just fell down and hurt your knee, but the person that helped you up was the person that you need for your business. You're seeing the gift in all of the hiccups instead of seeing the pain and the suffering, which then pushes a button on the pain and the suffering to continue. So once you've mastered the red carpet effect, you're living in heaven on earth. Everything is wonderful. Now, what happens when we have a little bit of stagnancy, right? All of a sudden, we're not in somebody else's bubble. We're not thinking negative thoughts, but the universe starts to reflect something to you where you're stuck. Maybe you're not getting that money that you thought you should get. Maybe you're not, selling your house in the timeline that you wanted to sell your house. Well, there are some things we can do to activate movement, to activate something different. And what I like to teach is you're placing in your consciousness whatever you want to create. It's called the creator bubble. So when nothing is happening in your life, you might have slipped back into just existing. You're waking up every day and life is good. You're in your red carpet, but you're not really placing things on your whiteboard. You're not placing DoorDash orders. Life has been so effortless that you're like, I don't really need to manifest anything else. But then all of a sudden the universe is like, no, babe, we want you to keep creating. We want you to see what you can do with your abilities. So we slip off track and then we're in the existing bubble. We're just existing through life and not really creating anything. So I like to move people into the creator bubble. And when you're in this creation bubble, you are journaling every night before bed. You're imagining, oh, what do I want to do tomorrow? Or how much money do I want to call in to see if I can call it in? We're just playing for fun now at this point. And yes, your life might be survival right now. You might be in such stressful states, and you're the person this video is for, because that means you might have just been in the existing bubble, or you might have been back a bubble and you're in the woe is me bubble. You're in the complaining about what is. We need to switch to existing, be present in the moment, and say, okay, let me look at everything I have and be grateful. Then we move to the creator. Now that I have everything that I'm grateful for, what else do I want to call in? So we cannot be thinking about what's not working. We find gratitude where we are in the existing bubble. Then we start creating more because we're worthy of more. Okay. And one of the things I like to do is I like to journal before bed, placing my DoorDash order. And I'll play with, so let's say it's money, right? Because I'm wearing my abundance shirt. We're talking about abundance in this video. I'll get my play money out and I will sit here and I will count this while I'm watching a YouTube video on my living room couch. So I'll sit here and I'll go 100,000, I know they're $1 million bills, but I like to build up to the 100,000, 200,000. So my psyche gets used to hearing that number. So I'll start at 100,000, 200,000, 300,000, 400,000, 500,000, 600,000, 700,000, 800,000, 900,000, 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, 4 million, 5 million. And I'll just pick like a chunk of money. I'll just pick a chunk and I'll be like, oh, I wonder how many I grabbed this time. And I'll just be mindless, right? I'm doing it not like robotic, I'm still feeling it, but I'm like, this feels so good and it feels natural. 100,000, 200,000, 300,000. And then what I do after I count it like 4 or 5 times and it feels fun, and I'm not bored at all with this, like I do it every night, then I start divvying out the money. Okay, so this is me creating. I'm creating the experience that I want to have in the future. So in the future, I would love to have my own school, a school for kids to go to hone their spiritual gifts, like a wellness center for kids, right? They can explore, they can garden, they can paint, they can do all these different things, but they can also be in a room and not know what they're going to do. They can see what creative thing comes out of them. Well, I would love to manifest 500,000 to $1 million to start making plans to create this school. So I also have a little bit of debt that I want to pay off. So now I'm going to assign this money to certain tasks or people or things that will help me do that mission. So what I'll do is I'll take the bills, and they could be various amounts, but I'm going to say, okay, I'll take this little portion, pay off my debt. Take this portion, invest it in my school. Take this portion, hire somebody to do the business end of the schooling. Take this so that I can invest money to keep growing my money. Take this to pay my taxes with next year. And then I just start placing the money where I think it's going to go. And look, even though I just did all of that, look how much more I still have. So my mind is getting used to seeing, okay, I'm already paying off these things, paying these people, delegating tasks. Because if you're a wealthy person and you're super, super abundant, you are delegating. You are knowing that you don't have to do anything alone. You have the abundance to allow somebody to help you, whether you pay them, whether they donate their time, but you are an abundant person knowing that this arrives when you know that you don't have to do it on your own. When you are taking on the task of creating money on your own, creating a business on your own, you're telling the universe you're not open to receiving help, which means you're not open to receiving all of this. This is help. This is not greed. This represents kids all over the world receiving the love and acceptance and the tools they need to make the most of their experience in this lifetime. So it's basically me giving them the ground for them to grow on. So that's how I see money. I see it as opportunity to change lives. And for me, when I'm manifesting it and counting it every night, going 100,000, 200,000, I'm getting excited because I'm like, yes, the universe is providing me with this money so that I can see these kids thrive. Because I grew up in an environment where I didn't thrive and I had spiritual gifts and they were smushed and I was made to feel stupid. And I couldn't do school because I was always in airy fairy land. I couldn't take tests because I could never retain the information. So I want to provide an environment for kids who are like me so that they can thrive and they're not made to feel stupid, or they're not told they have some sort of disorder or learning disability. It's like telling a fish that, a fish is thinking it's meant to fly all the time, but it doesn't really realize it's supposed to be in the water swimming, and that's where it's going to thrive. I want to make sure each fish is in the water, each bird is in the air. So me manifesting this money for myself is not really for myself. It's manifesting it through source for me to be the vessel. So, what are you going to be a vessel for? Why are you manifesting money? How can you start living your life in the red carpet effect where now that you're receiving your abundance, you're not going to mess it up because you've already mastered the red carpet effect, right? Like imagine if you did not learn how to maneuver through life, observing the mind, not falling into the old feelings and emotions and the grief. You've mastered your mind, right? Now you're ready to do your mission because you've learned how to live on the red carpet. So now the universe is going to bring you your abundance because you know the right thing to do with it. And you're not going to go, oh my gosh, I'm going to put this money towards drugs and alcohol and step off the red carpet and hurt myself, right? We're going to nurture our soul. We're going to nurture our body with this abundance. We're going to buy the healthiest foods. Maybe we're going to, buy a farm or buy land where we can create more food for our world. And then we can barter and we can share it. So think about how you are going to use your abundance. Get some play money, count it every night, count it in whatever increments you like to do. You do not have to follow mine. You could do 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, whatever you feel safe and comfortable with in your nervous system. I like hundreds of thousands. It's fun for me. And then start placing where you want the money to go. I'm going to pay off student loans, maybe. I'm going to pay off my car. I'm going to get a new car with this. And look how much more I still have. It's an endless flow. You're going to feel the first time I did this, before I used to just count the money. But then when I did this the other day, I was like, oh my gosh, I feel so good knowing that I just put all that money there, but I still have all of this. It did something to my vibration. And I actually woke up to 2 people booking my mentorship, which was a couple $1,000s right there. So this works. It activates your flow. So if you are living the red carpet effect, your heaven on earth is here. You've mastered the mind. You're in the flow. You're feeling so good, but maybe you're like a little stuck in one area of your life. And maybe it's money. Maybe it's relationships, whatever it is. Every single night, I want you to practice feeling into what you're physically going to do once that manifestation is here. So I'm physically, literally pretending like my millions are in my hand every night. And I'm actually planning, okay, Michelle, you already have it. Whether you won the lottery, whether it was gifted to you, whether it was inheritance, or whether it was your mindfulness programs reaching millions of kids and then you got money for it. I'm literally every single night feeling like this is mine. And I'm figuring out, because it's a big deal right now, right? It's fun. I get to spend money on things that are going to help our world. And now the hard part is not really the hard part, but planning where it's going to go. How is it going to assist our world? How is it going to feed me? And I'm putting the money aside. Maybe I'm putting money aside for my nieces and my nephews' school and where they want to go. Maybe I'm putting it aside for their future homes, right? Maybe I am paying my mentor extra for all the years that she just pretty much saved my life. You're putting money in all these places where you feel like it will do good and it will amplify and it will magnetize to more people who need it, right? So we're going to be putting it out like a flow of energy to keep it circulating. So if you need help learning how to do this, learning how to be on the red carpet, number one, mastering the ego, not listening to it, finding out how to get out of that old way of living where negative things are always happening to you. And the number one sign you're not on the red carpet is when like you have consistent things breaking in your house. Like if you just had a roof leak and then the dishwasher goes, and I'm talking consistently. Do not count what I just said if this is happening to you right now and you're like, oh my God, what is Michelle saying, that I'm off out of alignment if 2 things broke down this week? But if you just had 6 months of nothing breaking, that is not saying you're off the red carpet. I'm talking, there are some people in my reality who are texting me every week for the last 6 months that something is going wrong in their life. Those people are off the red carpet. They're thinking negative thoughts. They're staying in their woes me. That's most likely not you guys. But if you are experiencing a little bit of chaos frequently, maybe you need to book a session and we need to figure out why. What are you missing? What are you doing wrong? And yes, we can do things wrong. Everything's perfect, We can be entertaining toxic people. We can be thinking negative thoughts towards people. We can be judging and comparing. That is not okay on this journey. You have to clean up your psyche. You have to clean up that ego and not allow it to be dictating your day, because the chaos is showing you that there's chaos in here. So there is a wrong way of doing things, because you're going to see a lot of wrong things happening, if that makes sense. I never like to use the word wrong, but it really is true. Like, if we're not being a good person and we're being negative and we're focusing on awful things, we're going to attract awful things. And to me, that's not really the best way to live. It's maybe not wrong. It's just a different way that's more uncomfortable. And I don't want any of you guys in discomfort. So if you need help, book a session with me. You can work with me in my 8-week mentorship. I do a 6-week group coaching program. Everything is below. I would be happy to assist you, to get you on your red carpet, to finalize some small little things that you can do to really amp up your game. Okay, and if you try this out, if you buy this money and you start counting it every night and you start placing it where it's going to go, comment below, come back and tell me how it works. Come back and tell me if you receive money the next day, because that's what happened to me. I received money immediately after I did this activity, so I wanted to share it all with you. All right, I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you for supporting me and my channel. All right, peace out.